The views and opinions expressed in this video are solely those of the fat-bearded vinyl guy and should not be taken seriously by sane people. Hey Vinyl Nation, I am Matt the fat-bearded vinyl guy and I'm back here in the vinyl lair. You know, this might come as a shocker, but bands don't always get a smash with their debut albums. Sometimes they need to get a dud out of the way before they hit their stride. So today I'm going to count down my top 5 favorite second albums. The ones where the first one wasn't great, but the second helping was a vast improvement. Now there will be some glaring omissions on this list. Led Zeppelin II, Paranoid, Axis Bold as Love. I left records like those off of this list because those sophomore efforts were just as acclaimed as the debut, if only just for me. I'm looking at the difference between the first and the second albums. I'll also remind you that I'm also working with the records that I have. Although this record was released in July of 1973, it was another year before the eventual hit Lady was played on Chicago's big rock stick WLS, and that catapulted Styx into the mainstream. Their self-titled debut was very forgettable. I don't have it, nor do I want it. But the second album was closer to that Styx sound they eventually mastered with Equinox, their initial release on A&M Records. The sudden ascent to stardom, albeit delayed, puts Styx 2 at a solid honorable mention. Queen's self-titled debut was received fairly well by critics, but didn't sell well at all initially. The second album is more in line with what we know as the Queen sound of the 70s. Orchestrated guitars by Brian May and grandiose fantasy themes by Freddie Mercury. This record set the stage for the Night at the Opera album the following year. Even Mick Rock's album cover photograph is one of the most iconic photos in rock history. Few are even aware of Billy Joel's debut album Cold Spring Harbor, mostly because it was a technical disaster. The songs were pretty good, but the album was mastered at the wrong speed, leading to his voice coming out too high. Not quite like the Chipmunks, but still too high. This was only corrected on a 1983 reissue. Piano Man was Billy Joel's first with Columbia Records as opposed to the much smaller Family Productions on the debut. Songs like Captain Jack and The Ballad of Billy the Kid are solid songs that he still plays live, but the title track is the one that became his signature, as he's still referred to as the Piano Man. Not exactly the best-selling or most well-known release from Def Leppard, thanks to a pair of legendary releases known as Pyromania and Hysteria, but producer Mutt Lange helped sow the seeds of greatness that blossomed into those albums, can be found on Def Leppard's second album. It's the right amount of band on the cusp of greatness and kids full of piss and vinegar that puts this record at number 2. Killer cuts like Let It Go and Saturday Night, as well as a breakthrough ballad in Bringin' on the Heartbreak, doesn't hurt either. Let me get this out of the way first. I love Bruce Dickinson. Pound for pound, he's the most legendary metal singer in history and one of the best rock vocalists ever. If I wanted to, I could make an argument for Ronnie James Dio, but I don't want to right now. That said, there's something about the Paul Di'Anno years of Iron Maiden that resonates with me. Maybe there's a special energy there with a young, hungry band. Maybe there was something he added to that Maiden sound. I just dig it. Killers was the final album with Di'Anno on the mic and the first Maiden album with longtime producer Martin Birch, who the band wanted for the first album, but they didn't think he would bother with the young group. The energy of the band performing the songs, many of them they had been playing for several years already, added to Birch's production, gives the introduction to that classic Maiden sound. Oh yeah, then there's that cover artwork. Killers features, in my mind, the definitive image of Eddie the band mascot. He's gone through many changes since then, but the Killers cover gives us, I think, the Eddie. This is the album that put a stake through the heart of the hair metal era. It didn't die right away, but its demise wasn't far off. Nirvana released one album called Bleach in 1989 that primed the pump, so to speak. Naturally, it got a reissue once Nevermind blew up. I still remember watching the Smells Like Teen Spirit video and just losing my mind. Naturally, the Seattle grunge sound was all the rage, as bands like Pearl Jam and Soundgarden took off. Suddenly, flannel shirts were worn as a fashion choice, just not because it was cold and you needed to keep warm. That's all for now. For more music talk and vinyl shenanigans, go to fatbeardedvinylguy.com. You'll find links to my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Give each of them a like and I'll like that. Also, let me know what your favorite second albums are down below. I promise I will personally respond to every comment. That being said, if you're nice, I'll be nice. If you're mean, I'll be mean back. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, as well as clicking the bell to be notified of new videos. If you need more during the week, catch Richard Tiemann's Fan Show every Wednesday night. Catch this past week's episode to see what astral axe slinger I featured. Go to facebook.com/fanshowofficial for more. Until next time, take it easy and I'll catch you on Side B.